Hey everyone, JhN here, and I have a question for you. What if today was your very last day on Earth? What would that look like to you? And before you go, oh, well, I know exactly what I would do. I would go splurge on very expensive champagne, book a flight to Machu Picchu, and then take in the sunset and call some friends on the way and loved ones and tell them I love them. What if I told you that wasn't in the cards, that you had to live your very last day as it was planned? Wait, what? Kind of like, not like Groundhog Day where you just got to do whatever you wanted, but you had to stick with your work obligations. If you're running errands or if you're going to get stuff for the kids and making food and doing laundry, you've got to go about every single thing that you had scheduled for that day. What would it look like then? A lot of us wake up and we're just stressed right off the bat. Oh, I gotta go to work, gotta do this, gotta get this for the kids and run all these errands and blah, 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 blah. And we're just like annoyed and angry and stressed and even worried and panicked about our day, and we're just getting out of bed. And then we go check the news. Oh my God. We jump on our phone or go watch TV and we're like, wonderful, the world's literally falling apart at the seams. Really great timing, global pandemics and environmental crisis and political garbage, and we're just stressed and we haven't been awake for 30 minutes yet. And then we'll find ourselves throughout the day just being like upset. Like depressed or resentful or regretting or blaming others. We're just unhappy about a previous version of ourselves, things that happened in the past circumstance, or people just making us embarrassed or faulting us for stuff. All these little things the mind drums up throughout the day about your past, and we consider that stuff throughout the day. And then at other times we're like, oh man, I just wish I had more money. I wish I had a better house, bigger house, more space, a yard with a garage, or kids that freaking listen to me, or a partner that just really took time to understand me and be what I want them to be. Baby, come in here. Come look at the size of this thing. And if only I was healthier and more muscular and prettier and handsomer and more well-liked. I wish I was more popular. That would do it for me. Or if I had more power and influence. Yeah, that's the ticket. We find ourselves having all these thoughts throughout the day too. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure you experience a bunch of little pockets of joy, of simple pleasantries and laughing and a little bit of dancing and jokes and telling good stories and embraces and having some good cherished times with your loved ones. But are those more abundant than all the negative stuff? Because if you're experiencing a ton of negative things in life on a regular basis, there's something you can do to change all of that in just one day. This technique is what I call the Cinderella effect. Before you Disney haters start getting all upset with the name, hear me out. Basically, you're going to die at midnight tomorrow. But why? That's right. You are going to die at midnight. Tomorrow is your ball. You are Cinderella, and midnight is the end of the ball. So, with that said, knowing that tomorrow is your last day of life, what would that day look like? And remember, you can't go splurge on champagne and book flights to exotic locations and just have this crazy rampage of day and celebration. You've got to stick to what your day was planned for. Your schedule, going to work, dropping the kids off at school, making meals, doing laundry, running errands, everything that's involved in your day, you still have to adhere to that. You got to stick to that game plan, but you still are going to die at midnight. So what does it look like for you? Looks like shit is what it looks like. You'd probably wake up and cry a little bit. You'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm dying today at midnight. Shit. This kind of sucks, but also, I don't have a lot of time. If I'm dying at midnight at 7 a.m., I gotta get to it because there's a ton of stuff that I need to get done, and I really wanna make the most of this final day. So you'd wipe away those tears and you jump into getting about your day. Your mental perception would shift. You'd start being more centered, more appreciative for each and every moment? Would you be stressing about work and bills and Debbie from accounting and all the Karens that are running around in the world upset with stuff and traffic and little hiccups? You wouldn't consider any of that stuff because you don't have freaking time for that garbage. You know that every negative emotion you experience, anger and frustration, impatience and worry and panic and depression and resentment and guilt and all that nonsense, is every less chance, an opportunity for you to stay present in compassion, in empathy, in love, in gratitude. And you don't have time for the negative crap. You have to stay focused in the positive, and you're highlighting, mentally perceiving all the good in your life, and you have no time for the bad. And you have to go into work. And so you'd be grateful to be there, and you know you would make the most of every encounter. Even the people you don't like so much, you'd still be like present and nice and compassionate to them. And if they tried to bring that negative toxicity, you don't have time for that crap. I'm sorry, Karen from accounting, but I don't have time for your constant negativity right now. Let's look at the positive. You do your best to make them feel important and beautiful and be compassionate, and then you move the freak on to something else where you can be of purpose, when you can feel fulfilled and reside within the positivity. And then driving home from work, oh, I'm stuck in traffic. Would you sit there and grunt and growl and be all pissed off? No, you'd be like, okay, what can I do to maximize this time? I know what I'll do. I'm gonna call all of my friends and I'm gonna get them on the phone. I'm gonna say, listen, I don't get this opportunity very often, but I need to tell you something. And I know that we know it and it goes unsaid, but I love you. And I cherish you, and I'm super, super grateful for our relationship and all the good and the bad. Well, maybe not all the bad, but most of the bad and all of the good. And I know that we are blessed to have one another, and I just want to take the time to tell you that. And I don't want to go blabbering on and on and on about stupid stuff with work or whatever. I just want you to know that I love you and that I can't talk long. I've got some other people to call and tell them the same thing, but I cherish you, friend. Thank you for being a part of my life. And the people you live with, your spouses, your partners, your boyfriends and girlfriends, your roommates, your children, even your pets, your dog, your cat, whatever. But your children, your spouse, your loved ones, how much would you be so centered in on that exchange? Feeling their energy, smelling them as a human, looking at the color of their pupils and taking it in, listening to their laugh and let it radiate through you, embracing them. Probably holding on to them too long where they get kind of weird and uncomfortable and be like, dude, stop, why are you hugging me for like a minute? But you would sit there and just relish that and you'd be so grateful. And you wouldn't give a shit about all these different little grievances and about, oh, why don't they clean up the dishes? And I wish they would listen to me more, and they don't take me seriously, and this, that, and the other. All of the beauty of your relationship would be highlighted. You wouldn't even consider that stuff. It'd just be a natural occurrence because you know you're dying at midnight. So you don't have time to look at all the crap, garbage, personality flaws. You are only highlighting what's beautiful about them and how they don't do the dishes and how they don't listen to you, and it's kind of cute and charming, and you're gonna make bad things look good because it's a personality, and that you love them for who they are, and you're going to cherish this time that you have left with them because it's not going to be forever and it's not guaranteed. And so you're going to reside within that moment and love them and feel their love for you and that exchange, and you're just going to really embody that gratitude and embrace and honor that relationship because it's so special. And you would sit them down right next to you or in front of you by the shoulders, and you'd look them in the eye and you would just tell them, I need you to know something. It's very important. I love you. And I don't care about any of this other crap. When it comes down to it, I know you love me and I love you, and I just want to let you know that I am so grateful for that love. It has been one of the best things in my life and an honor to share that with you, and you mean the world to me. And would you have to forgive them for what they did? No, it wouldn't even be a consideration because you're not considering all that crap, all those little grievances and everything. But would you forgive yourself? Would you think about what you could have done and have all this regret? Because that's something that is telling for you. If you're gonna have a ton of regret, then now's the time to change. You have moments left on this earth still to pursue, to be, to heal, to expand and create and be the version of yourself that you've always dreamed of being. And you have time. And you forgive yourself for what you weren't and the decisions that you probably could have made better, and all the situations and circumstances that you blame and have resentment and guilt and regret. And you just go, I don't have time to dwell on that stuff. I need to make the most of the time I have now. So I forgive myself, and I'm gonna move on and experience the rest of my day as fulfilling and beautiful as I can, and I'm gonna stay present and just really, really stay centered and embrace gratitude for what I have. And your day is coming to an end, and so is your life. It's 11:45. You got 15 minutes left, and I wanna ask you, what would that day look like to you? Would you have lived that day to the fullest? Would you be appreciative? Would you have a ton of regret about not spending it a certain way? Would you feel super fulfilled with the encounters that you had? Even if it was with a mailman or a perfect stranger at the grocery store, you'd be compassionate. You'd listen. You'd go about your day loving, sharing love, feeling that love, and nothing would upset you because you don't have time to be upset. And you'd sit there, and you may be sitting next to your loved ones, or you may be alone, and you may be ruminating about your day, and you'd get this overwhelming sense of gratitude. Man, I have so much in my life that I really take for granted on a regular basis. At least I did up until today. And today was one of the best days of my life because I got to express myself. I got to tell those who I love that I love them, and I got to just surrender, and I just gave in to being who I am here and now, and it felt so liberating. I'm so over it trying to be what I'm not, and today I gave all that up, and I didn't get upset. I wasn't stressed, and I didn't have anxiety, and I didn't even think about the past. I just knew I had to stay centered on today, and I made the most of it, and man, it was a great day. But now I have another question for you. Who promised you that you'd live throughout today? Who promised you that you'd live tomorrow? What higher being, what source of influence came down and gave you a guarantee that you're gonna live beyond today, beyond tomorrow, beyond next week? No one ever did. Yet we take life for granted day to day to day, highlighting all the negative, all the toxicity in our life on a regular basis. And so this technique, the Cinderella effect, is a great way to pull us into this presence of what really matters, because we are not guaranteed to live today or tomorrow. My wife, a young 33-year-old, vibrant, beautiful woman, one day thriving, the next had cancer, stage 4 lung cancer, and we battled and had to go through all these trials and tribulations, and her body wasted away, and little by little I just saw, holy shit, I don't have time to worry about anything, but I need to be present with her. I need to cherish these moments. And as her midnight came and I clutched her hands, kneeling at her hospital bedside, and I poured my heart into her, even though she was unconscious and unable to hear me. I know she did. And I expressed my gratitude for the time we had, and I asked her to look after me and to help me. But mainly I told her how grateful I was for her, and that I loved her and I always would, and that I knew something very, very important came of that love, a lesson that I am not guaranteed life, that I have not been granted many, many days, and that I'm going to cherish each one and not take life for granted, and I'm going to highlight the beauty in my life. And that lesson took me down, and it centered me into gratitude, into being honoring my life. It's a good message, but how do I implement this Cinderella effect in my day? I've got the solution. You're gonna grab some Post-it notes, the little ones, the sticky notes that pull away, and you're gonna grab about 10 of those, 7 to a dozen of them, and I want you to write something on that note, just a word or two. You're gonna write Cinderella effect, or you're gonna write midnight, or you're gonna write gratitude. And you're gonna take that note and you're gonna put it right next to your bedside, right on top of your alarm clock, so that when you wake up first thing in the morning, you are centered in on gratitude. And then you're gonna take another one and you're gonna put it in your bathroom on the mirror, so when you get ready after the shower and everything, you see gratitude. And then put it on the fridge door, so when you go make a meal every time, you see gratitude. And on your car dash, and at your office, at work, and out in the garage if you have to, and at your desk, anywhere that you're gonna be on a constant basis during that day, you're placing one of those post-it notes. And every single time you see it, it's an anchor, and it just pulls you in to being grateful, to being present, and to highlighting all the good that you have. And that is the Cinderella effect. So try it out for a day or two, or maybe 3 or a week, and you're gonna start seeing that shift in your mental perception. I wish you guys the best of luck with this. I also am asking you to subscribe if you have not already, and hit the notifications button so you know when I'm releasing a new video. And please comment away. If this effect, this Cinderella effect, worked for you, then please tell me that. I'd love to hear that stuff. And if it did not work, then don't tell me that. Keep it to yourself. Nobody likes a negative Nancy. But give me that thumbs up if you think I've deserved it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really hope this effect helps you make your day beautiful and bold and vibrant and just special. And if you can, do something unexpectedly kind for another today or tomorrow. It very may well make their day as well as yours. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day and be well.